Welcome to the Political Matrix News. Politics, people, local, regional, national news. Political Matrix News keeps you informed. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the political matrix. Hey, the Political Matrix blogcast rolls on again. We're doing this on Wednesday, the 15th of May. I'm Rob Milford, joining you from Orlando. Greg Fink, acknowledge where you are on this part of the planet.
Let's see, I am muted, but right now I'm in Gainesville.
Oh, that's a good thing. Jonathan Cole, we're finding him in Navarre, a place where you could find two really good lesbians who make T-shirts, apparently. And then our special guest this episode, Gay Valimont, who is a Democrat running for the 1st Congressional District in Florida. And that would be Pensacola, Navarre, Midway, Baker, and a bunch of other places as well. Of course, the sitting congressman is Matt Gaetz, who basically sits on his ass and does nothing up there. Now, Gay, a true story. He got elected in 16. In 18, we were doing Oppo research and a lot of man on the street stuff. And here you go. Here's what someone said after Matt had been in Congress 2 years. You want to write this one down too? Matt's doing a great job. He's on Fox News all the time.
That's his whole job.
That was it.
Woo!
And he kissed Donald Trump's ass nonstop for 4 years, probably even 6 years. And Congress refuses to complete the investigation of Matt Gaetz and what he may or may not have done with the county treasurer of Seminole County, which is Metro Orlando. That guy is now in prison. And if he's in prison, and they go back all the way to the days of Tallahassee in the State House, I wonder what's going on. Your core issue is fascinating. In the course of your education and growing up in the world, you became an athletic trainer. You're one of the people that tape up the guys or the girls and make sure that knee brace is on right and so on and so forth to keep them in the game.
Yep.
And over the years, as I understand it, you know, when you're sitting there wrapping an ankle 150 times around, making a slightly flexible cast, they would talk about life at home, life growing up, life in high school, and how many of them were frankly very afraid. Didn't matter how big they were, how fast, they were afraid of what?
Gun violence. They were afraid that they would not be able to protect themselves or their family. I worked at Emory Sports Medicine, and I also worked at
Atlanta, Georgia, Emory University. Okay.
Yes. And I worked in, prestigious hospitals. But what they do with their athletic trainers is delve them out to different schools in Atlanta. So I worked in predominantly downtown Black high schools with fantastic sports. And the majority of the time, I was the only white person even on campus. And it was always fine with me. But my kids, always wanted to protect me. And by kids, I mean, 15, 16-year-old, 300-pound linemen that eventually went and played at Auburn and then the Broncos. Or I have athletes that played at Tennessee and then they went to played in Miami. But they had to live differently than other white athletes from private schools in downtown Atlanta. And it's because of loose guns in their communities.
Mm-hmm.
And when communities are disenfranchised, they turn to theft. They turn to gun violence. At a young age, there were too many guns amongst these, and I call them kids. They're high school kids, but they're huge, and they look very menacing. But when they're facing a gun on the street, that means nothing.
True. So, gun violence. That's one of your core issues. Who do you blame for the gun violence?
Who do I blame?
Yeah.
I don't know that we can blame one person or one thing for gun violence, but what's happened over the last 30 years when the NRA used to be a big proponent of gun safety, of Eddie the Eagle and teaching gun safety and how to store your weapons.
Right.
And then somewhere along the way with LaPierre's leadership, they turned into and it's fun. It's fun. We could talk about that. It turned into more of a money-making machine. And the lobbying portion of not the NRA, it's just the gun lobby. It's the lobbyist for the gun manufacturers. It's the sale of guns, has turned into big profit. And as gun laws were loosened, our gun violence went up. And that's just plain and simple, the facts. So I think that if we all talk about, if we can all recognize that there's a problem, I find it very hard to believe that people can deny that there is a gun violence problem in this country when 120 people die every day, when it is the number one killer of kids and teens. There's no denying that there's a problem, and we may have different ways of addressing it, but it needs to be addressed. And I'm willing to sit down and talk to anybody. I mean, I've been fighting Marion Hammer for 10 years.
Oh my
I'm
God!
not scared of Gates.
Let me tell you something. The two things. Number one, Chucklehead Wayne LaPierre, who was basically El Presidente for life for the NRA, ripped us off up and down 3 ways from Tuesday, and he's going to go to prison and have to pay a lot of money back. He really screwed with things. And everybody goes, "Oh, he's great." And I'm like, no, he's not. And then Marion Hammer, the Smurf. I have zero, not a one modicum of respect for that woman. She is so out of touch with reality, the real world. And I have a nephew who testified in front of the late Senator Greg Evers about having guns on college campuses. And this kid was at that time in college at UCF in Orlando. And you know what? He said, not only no, but hell no. You know why he said hell no? He had been a firearms instructor in the Marine Corps, had probably fired 1 million rounds, probably taught 1,000 people how to shoot.
Yeah.
And he's dealing with college students graduating to become Marine Corps officers, or in the, between school semesters, summer vacations where they take Marine officer training. And he's like, no. And Marion Hammer called him despicable. And he, to this day, wears that with pride. And I've told the NRA, when you get rid of Marion Hammer and you get rid of Wayne LaPierre, I'll think about rejoining. So I hear what you're saying, but every time you say common sense gun laws, we who legally own firearms, like, now what the hell do you want to do? Because the ATF comes out constantly, well, we're going to crack down gun crime, hard time. He used a gun, he goes away for 10 years, and they plea bargain the crap down. That's a DOJ issue. Absolutely. What else you got? We got about 30 seconds or so. Give me your website, your web address, and next political rally, that sort of thing.
It is gay4congress.com, and it's easy to remember because remember, you can't say gay in Florida. So gay for Congress, GAYFOR for Congress. Please look me up because I think it's worth the look. And as far as gun violence prevention, I think it's very important for people to understand. I want background checks on all gun sales. I want people to store their weapons properly. And I want there to be consequences if you don't. I think those are things that we can all get around, and nobody wants to take your guns away.
All right. Next appearance, next rally, next campaign stop. Knocking on every door in town.
We are doing Navy Days in Pensacola. We will be walking around, meeting people. I have a new friend that is running against Don Gates, and she still needs to collect petitions. So I'm going to introduce her to the community with me, and so that we can work together, because it is the Gates machine in Northwest Florida is something.
Yeah, it's a load of crap is what it is. Gay Valimont, running for Democrat in the Congress of the United States for the 1st District of Florida. Very best of luck to you. Thank you for taking your time and joining us here on the Political Matrix blogcast.
Thank you for having me.